Southmakers, this week we have something special in store for you guys. So about 8 months ago, we had the opportunity to sit down and shoot an episode with Trent Shelton in the lobby of the Marriott here in Aruba. This is all thanks to Haddock, by the way, who organized the Lidera conference, and he sweet-talked Trent Shelton for me to just give me 20 minutes of his time. After he checked out from his hotel room, before he rushed to the airport, we improvised, set up the cameras, and just spoke with him for a while. We had this stored for about 8 months because we were always posting content in Papiamento. We weren't ready to post content in English yet, but this is the perfect timing. We just started posting on YouTube. We posted the first episode in English last week, so no better time than this. Hope you guys like it.
You're trying to be perfect, you walk on perfection eggshells. So give myself permission to mess up. I'm not defined by a mistake. I'm not defined by a drop ball, right? I'm defined by what I do after that next moment. You're starting out doing something, that's not failure, it's figuring it out. It's called trusting the process. And so we need to put kids in positions early for them to fail. When you walk into something unknown, you're gonna feel fearful. But that lets me know I need to be here because I know that on the other side of fear is growth, is change, is impact. I think the greatest weakness is acting like you good when you're far from it. It's smiling for the camera, as I say, but dying behind the scenes. What's dope, what's cool, what's strength, is to help somebody stand up and say, bro, I got you. Even in your weakest moment, your mistakes. It's all right, bro, I got you. We all make them. You never know who you're inspiring. You never know who's watching.
Trent, man, so the first question I have for you is, I heard you say that less than 1% of people get into the NFL. What is it like to be part of such an elite group of people that are on the top of their game in the world?
It's amazing. I think when you're trying to achieve it, you don't really look at it like that, right? Because you really think, I know growing up that it was possible, so you don't even see less than 1% of people. But to actually get there and do it and look back on it now, it's something that I can be proud of, man, because you're basically putting in work that 99% of people, 99.9% of people in the world, don't do, and it's a very hard grind for years. I mean, I started playing football when I was 4 years old, and then making it to the NFL when I'm 22 years old. So it's a long journey, man, but it taught me a lot about believing that it's possible even when all the odds are against you.
Looking back now, being retired, what did you keep from being an elite athlete for so long?
Just the mindset, man. The mindset of consistency, hard work, perseverance, endurance. I think athletes, honestly, are some of the greatest people in the world, not just in their sport, but, a lot of companies hire athletes because of their mindset, being able to push through, teamwork, all these things. And so I know that athletic mindset is a big part of my success today in the public speaking, personal development world.
One thing is, I imagine that athletes can be people that find themselves in situations of high pressure, or you can even get performance anxiety before a match. So
for sure.
How did being an athlete teach you to find inner peace or stillness in a moment of high pressure?
Yeah, so I always say protect your peace, right? And being an athlete really taught me that because you're right. I mean, it's fourth down, in football, and we need a first down, and if we drop it or we don't get it, the game is over. And so I was a guy that I wanted the ball in my hands. I wanted to be in that pressure because what really helped me become confident in pressure, same thing on stage, is a few things. Number one, giving myself permission to mess up. As crazy as that sounds, I think when you're trying to be perfect, you walk on perfection eggshells. So give myself permission to mess up. I'm not defined by a mistake. I'm not defined by a drop ball, right? I'm defined by what I do after that next moment. So that's helped me a lot in my journey. And then I think when it comes to confidence, is reminding yourself that you're in that position for a reason. It's a reason why the coach wants to throw me the ball on fourth down. I've earned that. I've proved that over and over and over. It's a reason why I'm on the stage. It's a reason why, I'm online and people are watching me or doing this interview. I think we forget that we've put in the work to earn the spot. And I think you can find confidence in knowing that I'm here for a reason.
How can we help other people on this platform to get into that mindset of not failing forward and learning how, because I think you said that also a lot of times. You say that a lot of times is social media is, even if this is on social media, but it's not the truth. But how can we plant that seed in the next generation to make it happen and not be afraid to make it happen. I think we spoke about it a little bit, but how can we make that happen?
I think we have to change the conversation around failure. I think we live in a society now where it's not cool to try no more. Like, we think we're just supposed to like be successful when we first start. We compare our chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 1,000. And so I think we got to change the conversation around failure, and we got to change that definition, because failure is only when you quit. That's it. Like, us doing a podcast, and this might not be the greatest podcast at first, whatever it may be, or starting out doing something, like, that's not failure, it's figuring it out. That's called trusting the process. And so we need to put kids in positions early for them to fail, and for them to know that they're not defined by their failures. And then I think from that moment they realize, like, so for example, really quick, the kids that I coach in football, like even my son and my team, I literally will get angry at them sometimes if they don't fail at practice. Like, if I'm teaching them something and I want them in their comfort zone, they don't want to mess up, I'm like, you didn't get better today. Yeah, you did everything perfect, but you didn't try anything new, so you didn't progress, you didn't grow, you didn't level up. And so I'm always pushing them to try something different, to try something new, because you become an expert once you fail continuously and learn from your failures, and that's when you become that expert over time. Expert isn't born an expert. They are failures that didn't give up and didn't quit.
I think that helps create like a positive relationship with fear as well, right? Because if you constantly fail and learn from it, I think even if you feel like anxious or fearful before something, you know that it's just part of you and the growth process that comes ahead, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Like, fear is a compass. Like, I always say that fear will tell you. Now, right, they always say, I like to protect myself in saying this. Like, there's certain fears that tell us, like, hey, you might not want to walk out in the street, a car is coming, right? That keeps us safe. But then you have fear that keeps you from who you're supposed to be. And fear usually, when I feel fear in something, like, there was a fear of me coming here. Like, I'm a human. I've never been here before. This is unknown, right? Even though I know it's going to be great, when you walk into something unknown, you're going to feel fearful. But that lets me know I need to be here, because I know that on the other side of fear is growth, is change, is impact. And so fear to me isn't like a prison anymore. It's more like a freedom to say, man, I feel fearful in doing this. I know I should be doing this because there's something special, you know what I mean, that I care about. And I say this, people are like, Trent, do you get nervous anymore? Like, yeah. The day I stopped getting nervous, it's not a nervous that's debilitating, but the day I stopped getting nervous and I stopped caring, that's the day that I don't need to do it no more. You know what I mean?
You know what you just said about a fear coming to Aruba. I experienced that with you. Like, I was talking to
Right.
Brenda. I was talking to Brenda, right? And I told Brenda, you guys are family. Before we met, like, all we know is on Messenger or just social media, no personal. And what I saw with him and what he's saying is true, because I saw him coming, the introvert that you are, and then coming out of your shell and feeling totally at home here.
Yeah.
That was for me something very beautiful to see, and that's what we are on this island. So for me, it was awesome to see that, and for you to be able to do this with us, it is awesome, man. Like you said, we're coming back. We're doing more things. More things to come. But it's normal to see that. I've had that too. I think he has that too. That even me going on stage, I have my ritual that you have to do it to get comfortable with going on there, and what I always tell people is the fear of the unknown is where you're gonna grow. It is where you have to get to grow. So that, for me, that was awesome to see, because of course you're a worldwide known person. To see that you're a person, people see that you're human, right?
Yeah,
you're human.
exactly.
So people don't see that a lot of times, but that's one thing that people need to know and need to hear about and see that. Everybody's human,
Yep.
Everybody, we have our flaws, we have our strengths, but to surpass everything, to get to the next level, that's what we would like to do also. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that of you.
Can I add something? Because you said something about that. I think it's really powerful. Like, we talked about the fear of the unknown, and so you asked that question earlier too. Like, for me, when I look back, like, the fear of the known is more powerful to me. So what I mean by that, like, the fear of me knowing that if I don't go for it, if I don't try, like my life is gonna be like this for the rest of my life. Like that scares the hell out of me. You know what I mean? I don't wanna be here for the rest of my life in stagnation. So that's more powerful. So I call it like gaining leverage. So those things push me to go do things I've never done before because I know if I don't grow, then I'm gonna be here for the rest of my life. And that's just something that really scares me more than anything.
That was that hit home,
he gets like that in his podcast.
Yeah. So, sometimes I'm just shook. I didn't expect such a good answer. So I'm just gonna shoot one more question. I'll let Eric shoot one as well. Something that I heard yesterday, and I wrote it down because I just want to read it back to you. You said acknowledgement is power, and I need help is one of the most powerful things you can say. Can you elaborate just a bit on this?
Yeah, I think acknowledgement is beautiful. Even being aware, right? I always say the first step to change is awareness. And then when you can then acknowledge that, hey, man, I need help. Hey, man, I'm not right. Hey, I want this, I want that. And as men, I feel like personally, you know, I know back in the States and how I grew up, like help, even as an athlete, like asking for help was a weakness. You know what I mean? You're not supposed to show any weakness and all these things. And it's something that I fight for, you know, for people, especially for men, to say, no, I need help is probably the strongest thing a man can say. Because usually in this world, when you ask for help, more than likely you're gonna get it from somewhere. You know, I think the greatest weakness is acting like you good when you're far from it. You know, it's smiling for the camera, as I say, but dying behind the scenes. So I think more people should ask for help because the things that you don't deal with will end up dealing with you. And there's so many people that's literally dying because of silent battles, because they're afraid to look a certain type of way. They're afraid to look weak. You know, strength is admitting that you are weak and that you need help, because every human being that's watching this episode, us sitting here, we all have our weak moments in life. And so how beautiful would it be if I can say, hey, bro, it's good. I can help you up. And you're comfortable in that instead of getting kicked while you're down and laughed at and criticized in the social media world. So I want more people to say, man, you're down, it's all right. I don't want, and it's just on my heart to say this, like, even with celebrities we see, right? Like, you see Will Smith and things, all the stuff that happened. It's like entertainment for people. It's like, what happened to the world of like, you know, whether you agree with him or don't agree with him, what happened to the world of like picking somebody up when they're down? Because that's what we would want. But yet, what do? It's our entertainment. We kick people down, we get in the comments as if those people don't read those comments. I'm telling you, they read them. And we sit there and we belittle people and hurt people and get our high off of making people feel low. So I want to get a place in the world that I fight for is like, nah, that's, as we say back home, that's corny to do that. What's dope, what's cool, what's strength, is to help somebody stand up and say, bro, I got you. Even in your weakest moment, your mistakes. It's all right, bro, I got you. We all make them. So I really want that for the world. I don't know if it'll happen, but I'm gonna fight for it.
No, that's
beautiful, man.
Yeah, but that's going into that. That's something that I also believe in is helping people. That's something that makes me happy. Me helping somebody and being unselfish makes me happy. Question I had for you, actually I have two questions. One of the most strongest statements that you made that you don't speak as much of it anymore that impacted my life is people will love you for the same, or people will hate you for the same reason they love you. Yeah. After I heard that, I got a lot of perspective. And then I think one of your lesser known books, as this is like a started from a book podcast, is Know Your Circle.
Yeah.
That book, I think all 80 pages.
Yeah.
It's not a big book. It impacted me because I had, as a very social person, I had what I thought was a big circle. And as I started growing, my circle started getting really small. And the things that you were saying there, you know, I want you to explain that is why does a circle, or who do you need in your circle? Who do you want or need in your circle to grow, especially to grow? And who do you need like you say, you have to burn some bridges, right?
You do. So, and it's difficult because it's such a complex question, bro. That probably could be like an hour conversation, but like, it's difficult because, you know, sometimes it's easy to spot somebody you don't need, right? But sometimes, like I always say, there's people that are good for you, are good people, but they're not good for your growth, your change. And so that's the hard part. But I always say you should have somebody in your circle, and they don't have to be all of these traits, but, you know, somebody that holds you accountable, right? Somebody that you can trust to hold you accountable. So if you were to say, hey, Trent, this ain't right, I should be able to accept that from you because I trust you and knowing not getting my feelings about it. Also, you should have inspiration in your circle. Like, people always ask me, like, who do you get, you heard it yesterday, who do you get inspired by? By everybody, honestly. But also, I don't have to look far to find inspiration. I can look in my circle. I want to be inspired by you. If I can't be inspired by you, I don't want you around me. Like that. Like, you know, I want to be able to look at your life and be inspired in some capacity. Maybe it's not holistic, like, inspiration, like everything about you, but maybe it's something that you do. Maybe you communicate with you. Maybe as a father, I'm inspired by the way you communicate with your kids. Like, I seen you with your kid, with your little boy, bringing him around. Like, that inspired me, bro. Like, being honest, I'm like, man, this is so dope.
Non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable. You don't really see that a lot. You know, it's all, I'll talk to you later, but you have that non-negotiable. Maybe it's how somebody works out, whatever. So I just try to find in my circle, like, bits of inspiration from people around me that make me want to be better and do better. And as they always say, if you're the best in your circle, then that's the issue and the problem. So I might be the best from the outside world, but there's people in my circle that are way better than me at a lot of things that help me become better.
You sort of answered both of your questions in one, right?
Yeah.
So you felt it coming.
And then the first thing you said with the quote, because I don't say that much, but it's true. Like, some people will fall in love with us for something, right? Maybe it's a lifestyle, maybe it's something, and then as it gets older, they start to hate the same thing they fell in love with you for.
Because it hits them. That's what happened with me. That's why my circle also got smaller. We had long conversations that my past, I will not change my past for anything.
Right.
I'm not afraid to say that I was a toxic person, but I started growing. But when it hits, you know, when you hit that nerve on your friends,
right.
They started disliking me for the same reason they liked me.
Yeah, it's
right?
crazy.
But again, it is what it is. Life goes on. You have a book coming out soon. You're writing a book.
Yes.
What can we expect from this book? I know you started
news.
teasing.
First I talked about it.
Yeah, you started hinting about it on social about the name. What name? I think everybody knows that Protect Your Peace. That's going to be your name of the book. Can you drop like a little what we can expect? Because I know we're reading it. We're gonna read it for sure. For
sure.
Hopefully you send it to us. As,
I will
as
for
pre-read
for sure.
for
I will.
Yeah,
Y'all definitely be like some of the first people that get it. So like those words changed my life, and you know, it's crazy because I see a lot of people in the world now, you know, protect your peace, and it's so much deeper. It's not just about like isolating yourself. It's not about building walls in your life. It's actually about building bridges. And so my whole goal in this book is to help people still keep their calm in the midst of chaos, right? I did the analogy with the Coke in the water and things like that. Yeah. Like, I want people to be water no matter how much you're shaking up, because we can't control the outside world. We can't control what happens when we leave here, what people say about us, but I want people to still be able to protect their peace. So it's 12 things, I won't give them all here, but that I want people to protect, right? Protecting your energy, protecting your mindset, different things like that I feel like make up the whole nucleus of what Protect Your Peace is all about. And I'm excited, man. Like, I'm working on it right now. I think it's gonna be very, very impactful to the world, man.
I'm ready to read it. One question I had, this is gonna be my last question. I didn't ask it yesterday. We had long conversations yesterday and through the weekend, but I wanted to keep it for this podcast. Who inspires you? Like, you as an inspirational person, who do you listen to, or who inspires you? Where you go for, like, literally where you go for inspiration?
Yeah, man. I get this question a lot. And I wish I could say like a cool person that I go to, and I think you can feel this, bro, from me. Like, I just told you, like, I get inspired by everybody. I do. Like, conversations, even just environments. Like, I get inspired by going into, as I call, sanctuaries for my peace. So like, I think environments hold energies. And so my greatest inspirations, like, I don't even like with Brenda, like our team, I don't even like to we don't have meetings indoors no more. Like, we go to the best place that we feel like is the most energized, where our minds are open and we get that inspiration. We have those meetings. So like, our office spaces become like nature pretty much. Nice. But I mean, I could say everybody, that people know, but my father has definitely probably been the biggest inspiration. It continues to be in my life. Like, to see what my dad has been through and to see how he still conquers through life. Like, we always say, like, the strongest man that I know, but literally, like, he's probably the strongest man that I know. I know a lot of people wouldn't be able to take back-to-back losses and still be strong as an individual. So I don't have to look far to find it. Like, my dad is my greatest inspiration. So when I'm feeling down, he probably don't even know it. I just look at him and just look at his life, and he inspires me to make sure that I'm even just half the man that he is, not just for my kids, but just for my community. My dad's a father, and he don't have like illegitimate kids, but he's a father to a whole community. Like, literally back home, like, everybody, like, that's my dad, even though it's not blood. That's how he cares about people. So he's my greatest inspiration for sure.
And that's real, because that's something that people need to hear, is you don't need to go far to find inspiration.
You don't, man.
It is all around you.
All around.
It doesn't matter the age, who it is. Like, Mauro, the young guy, inspires me. Randall is who's helping us, inspires a lot of people as a young guy also. But your inspiration should be close. In this social media world, there's a lot of inspiration out there, but is it real? Is it not? We had that conversation last night.
Yeah.
Is it real or not? But what you're saying right now, find your inspiration close, because that's something real. So yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate you, man. This is, again, a dream come true for me. We've had that conversation a long time. I think
Can I say this too to people that's coming up?
Yeah.
Like, and I want to say this too, and I learned this in my journey. You never know who you're inspiring. You never know who's watching. Like, I've had people reach out to me, like, even back in the day, I was like, what? You look at my stuff? Mm-hmm. Like, you're a walking inspiration. So, like, random, like, I listen to Blinkist, like, a lot, like the app where you can listen to books. I don't know if I listen to it.
Yeah.
So, like, I'll literally just put a topic. Like, I'll even put an author. And I'm listening to people that they probably know they're inspiring me. So you just never know who you're inspiring. So don't think about, I have 1,000 followers or whatever. Like, you just never know who's even coming across your work. So don't put yourself in a box based upon a number thing, because impact is something that can never truly be measured.
One thing I want to say to close off, going back to what you mentioned when you spoke yesterday, that the reason why you weren't surprised when you made it to speak to Africa was because your mind was there 5 years before your body was. Yep. I really like that, man. And I think me and Herrick are on the same page when we say that, or at least for me, my mind now is a few years down the line that we're working with you again, doing big things. So don't be surprised when our bodies catch up in a few years.
Are we there, man? Let's do it.
My mind, what we did this weekend was there 3 years ago. My mind was here. My body caught up. What you said, that hit me deep, because my vision, I saw a vision come true. And not manifesting, but working at it. Be that worker, right?
Yeah.
Don't wish. Don't do anything. Don't watch. I definitely don't watch.
You gotta celebrate it, bro.
We did.
Yeah.
We had fun.
Yeah.
We're gonna
you gotta
celebrate
it. Celebrate your wins, man.
So, dude, I really appreciate that. This is a dream come true. I think this is something I told Mauro last year. We're gonna have international speakers on his podcast, which right now is becoming our thing. He has his vision. I support his vision. So you guys, it's coming up. I'm gonna keep you accountable for it. Trent, hey, I appreciate that. I appreciate you. Mauro, you too, man.
Appreciate y'all, man. Keep going.
Man. Thank you, Randall. I really appreciate you making this work, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
No problem.